Hello, Samson here. So, in today's book review, I was reading How to Analyze People, Dark Psychology. Yeah, dark psychology. So, secrets to analyze and influence anyone, that is using body language, human psychology, and subliminal persuasion. Right into the introduction. Once you have a better understanding of how to analyze those around you, both physically and psychologically, you'll be able to persuade them towards them having to do you favors and stuff like that. Chapter 1, body language. One of the easiest ways in order for you to analyze people is by studying their body language and your own body language. Take note that there are cultural differences which lie when it comes to body languages. So touching in one culture can be okay, and in another culture it can be something that is not modest. Yeah. So in body language, we're talking about studying other people's movements. So once you become aware of your movements, it becomes easier to represent yourself, and you can easily interact with other people, and you can relate at their level. So eye contact is one of the things we're talking about when it comes to body movements. Maintaining eye contact simply lets the other person know that you're interested in whatever they're saying and whatever is going on. And then mouth movements, talking about smiling, um, you can easily differentiate a fake smile from a genuine smile, and smiling in other instances can be used in order to express discomfort. Nodding is another thing. So mimicking someone's head movement can be helpful in using persuasion. So a gentle tilt of the head while listening to someone can show that you are comprehending to what they are saying. And then hands and arms, these are things that actually help when it comes to creating conversations and whatnot in order to understand what someone is really doing. So having closed arms and hands can show that someone is closed, and having them open can literally give you a sign that someone is open enough. Signals. So these are things that are actually going to give your information to someone, minus you necessarily having to tell them what they are. So examples of signals are starting up a conversation without you having to put in an effort, and then the last thing is leading a conversation where it is just flowing under your guidance. Now, how your body language can affect you, there are a lot of ways in which your body language itself affects how effectively you communicate to your audience or to the people that you want to persuade. So there are a lot of things that you can do in order to improve, but examples of such are having an open mind and improving your memory, using verbal cues. So in persuading people, you've got to have the ability to use verbal cues. Verbal cue number one is the emphasis cue, where you don't just want to burge into a conversation, but you want to make an emphasis on a point. An example of such can be, let me explain. Yeah, because you want to make a point. Another cue is an organizational cue, where everything that you want to say is literally jotted down properly. You're saying, okay, firstly, let me tell you, secondly, thirdly, and whatnot. And then the other thing is to watch your pitch when it comes to verbal cues, because you do not want to chase people away from you because your pitch is just too high for them, and it's kind of not so much comfortable for them to listen to you. So the other thing is actually listening to others. A lot of people speak and listen so that they can speak, but the whole essence of listening to others is so that you can get what they are saying. And the habit of listening while formulating a thought of what to say next is something that should be, I don't know, avoided. Yeah. And then the other thing is actually apologizing. A lot of people communicate and want to apologize very much. Being apologetic, it's a turn off for other people, I guess, in creating conversations. Like, if you're going to apologize after everything that you say, why should we listen to you? And lastly, when it comes to chapter 1 and talking about body language, you understand that the power of your body lies in the importance of your smiling. Yeah. Chapter 2, we're talking about human psychology. This is because once you get to know how our brains work as human beings, or how the brain itself works, is going to help you relate so much to people. However, there is still so much that is unknown about the brain, and that is why a lot of studies have been conducted and all. So in order to create or to reach this level of human psychological understanding, create vulnerability is one of the things that you do. Under creating vulnerability, you have something like asking for help. You want to ask for help. The key is not to make someone feel like you are being a burden to them when you ask for help or you're asking for them to do a favor. So the second thing when it comes to creating vulnerability is asking for more. So asking for more simply means maybe you're going to borrow someone's truck, right? You want to shift or move somewhere. Instead of you asking just for a truck, ask for a hand in order to help. Chances are that the owner might actually refuse to give you the truck. So the best that you do is actually you asking for more, so that when they refuse to give you one, they give you the other one. Making connections. People do not want to be part of people who do not want to build relationships with them. You cannot persuade someone you don't have a relationship with. So in order for you to make connections with people, learn to use people's names, learn to mirror their behaviors, learn to use flattery as well. It goes a very long way. And then in the last chapter, chapter 3, we're talking about subliminal persuasion. So the idea behind subliminal persuasion involves convincing someone to do something that is below their conscious level. So things to take note when doing this are, number one, it's not about manipulation. No one wants to feel manipulated in order to do something for you, regardless of you having desiring to persuade them, but you just don't want to do that. And then confidence is key. Confidence is important in order to distract a person from realizing that you might be trying to persuade them. So under confidence, you have body language and body techniques, and then having your speech so clear is something that is going to show that you're confident and someone can easily be persuaded. Framing conversations. So in order to frame your conversations, you need to choose to be positive, and then you need to plan your outcomes. And then physical persuasion. So how you look can very much be persuasive a factor. So choose what to wear, and your scents are very important. How you speak, how you smell can either chase people away from you or attract people towards you. Lastly, we're talking about NLP tactics. So the idea to look at the neuro-linguistic programming of a person is to help determine what makes them unique from any other human beings. So in order to achieve these certain things to do, that is switching up the psychology of a human being, and then having to visualize. So visualization is something that is used. And then the third and last thing is taking away the ability to say no. An example of taking away the ability to say no is, instead of saying how many sweets can I have or how many cookies can I have, is actually instead of saying can I have one, it's reversed to say how many can I have. And then someone is going to realize that instead of turning you down, they're actually going to get you getting what you want. So this was How to Analyze People, Dark Psychology by James William. Till we meet in the next segment, checking out.